with Sierra Briggs in the leadoff spot. And Briggs misses down low. So here's the LSU lineup: Briggs, Newland, Pleasance, Gutierrez, Redidui, Bajaran, McKee, who was outstanding last night, Carson, and Sierra Daniel.
Yeah, McKee was really the difference. McKee is the replacement for Danica Coffey, who has been the leadoff batter for 128 straight games prior to her injury. That's 2 years. And McKee had big shoes to fill. She really stepped up for her team last night.
Briggs was 1 for 4 in the leadoff spot last night. And she finds herself ahead in the count, 2-1. Yeah, just a bit upstairs. Again, we had a couple of rain delays last night totaling about 3 hours. That's why they moved the start time today to let the rain get out of here. And so far, high and dry. And Briggs shoots one past Grace Lorson, and she doesn't stop at first, chugging into second. And so we'll see if they score that a double. I think it's going to be a single with an error in left field.
Well, Briggs, typically in the 2 spot, has moved up to the 1 spot with the injury to Coffey. And you are absolutely right. That ball should have been fielded cleanly by Riley Smith. Picks her head up too quickly. And LSU shows you they have such a complete offense. In last night's game, every starter had at least 1 hit.
So LSU looking to pick up where they left off last night as Briggs is at second. And the senior Allie Newland stands in. She was 2 for 5 on the night. Ball not hit off the barrel and pulled foul. The dimensions here at Kentucky Proud Park: 220 to straightaway center and 210 down each line. Our umpires this evening: Ron White is behind the plate, Don Brown at third, and Smokey Eds at first. First thing I always do, we talked about it yesterday, Brug, is I see what the flags are doing. Winds blowing from the northwest at 12, straight out. 45 degrees, but with the proverbial wind chill, it feels like 39. That one missed just outside. Hamilton, starting behind the plate tonight, tried to tug it back in, but not enough to the liking of Ron White. Ball shot back up the middle, and it goes underneath the glove of Tobias. Briggs comes to the plate, the throw's offline. LSU with back-to-back base hits, and they jump on top of the Cats 1-0.
This is such a confident team right now. Allie Newland, this pitch a little bit too much over the plate. It's down in the zone, and Newland hits it right back up the box, doesn't try to do too much with it. And good heads-up base running from Newland. Once that ball went all the way to home, she gets herself into scoring position. Up and down the lineup, LSU can make things happen on offense.
Here's who Carol talked about in our open, Taylor Pleasant's first pitch hitting. Sharply grounded to Tobias, who throws over to get the out, but that allows Newland to go to third. Here's the Kentucky defense: Lorson, Koppel, Tobias, and Borzilleri left to right in the infield. Hamilton behind the plate for Vickers. Riley Smith, Jenna Blanton, and Taylor Ebbs left to right in the Kentucky outfield. Raylan Gutierrez with 1 out. Takes ball 1 upstairs. Gutierrez also 1 for 3 last night. Kentucky gave up 6 runs, but only 2 were earned. Off-speed pitch. And that ball wasn't called foul until Gutierrez touched it. It could have cue balled back into the field of play. Talked off the air a lot about this LSU lineup. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the first 5 hitters, 4 seniors and a junior, and all lefties. That ball shot to the right side, and that's going to get through for a base hit. 3rd hit of the inning for LSU. It's an RBI single for Gutierrez.
And they have timed up Vickers nicely. Just battling. This pitch is on the inner half of the plate. And again, down in the zone. LSU not trying to lift any ball that's not middle to up in the zone. They're just shooting it through the infield. This is a very savvy hitting team. Excellent barrel control, can hit to all fields.
Allie Newland scored to make it 2-0, and that's a first pitch strike to Mackenzie Rudady. Rudady 2 for 3 last night. Gutierrez on first with just 1 out.
You can't say enough about LSU, the 20-game win streak, the only undefeated team right now, Division I softball. But the one thing that really jumps out to me is their team on base percentage. They're 8th in the country,
right,
which means they have a strong lineup, up and down. They take walks. This is also the team that strikes out the fewest number of times in the SEC, just 45 strikeouts on the season. And that has led, this offense has really led LSU. Always been known as a strong pitching program. They've always had just really a strength in the circle, but this year they have just exploded on offense. A lot of that has to do with their veteran and experienced team. But take a look at this number.
That's amazing.
92 walks as a team to just 45 strikeouts. If you have a 1-to-1 ratio, that's considered very, very good. Most teams have 2 strikeouts to every 1 walk. This team, it's the exact opposite. So good plate discipline. They're not swinging at balls. They just really know their strike zone. When they are swinging, they're attacking, they're on time. This is a very veteran lineup, and they are hitting like a veteran lineup.
Full count to Rudady. And that's a hopper. And Tobias misplays it. They can't get the out anywhere. Then she makes a throwing error. And Rudady gets herself caught up in a rundown, and Kentucky has to eat it. So another run doesn't come home. And this has got the makings of a really difficult first inning for the Wildcats.
We saw this last night. Lots of uncharacteristic errors from Kentucky. Tobias really sits back on that hop. Would have loved to seen her attack the ball and made one mistake by not fielding it, and then rushed the throw and threw it away.
And Tobias last night, she had that play where there's Langdon, and you thought if she had been a little more aggressive, then maybe they get an interference call in the infield. But there was the one inning where Kentucky had, I believe it was 3 errors in 1 inning.
They sure did, and really they came from all different positions. It wasn't like, sometimes the ball can find you if you're having a rough night.
Right.
It's kind of the same player. It was spread all over the field and really allowed for a big inning for LSU.
That ball hit to right, and Tobias, I believe she got that one. And so she got him in a hole with a tough play, but she gets him out of with their all-time leading home run hitter in Aaron Koffel. Koffel 1 for 2 last night. I think she walked once and was hit by a pitch.
Well, the word that comes to my mind when I think about Erin Koffel and her career here at Kentucky is just consistency. I mean, she has been the same type of hitter. She's only improved as a hitter each year, but she came in as a savvy hitter. A lot of home runs as a freshman. She has continued that her entire career. One of the hardest workers on this Kentucky team. And not only is she successful here at Kentucky, but now is a member of Team USA and having a chance to represent the country as well.
So Kelly Lynch, boy, I thought that was inside, but the late call there from Ron White. The count goes to 3-1.
And that has been the plan for LSU. They've really tried to tuck that ball on the inner half of the plate. You can see Koffel backing off a little bit today compared to where she was yesterday, trying to anticipate that.
And you talked about Lynch and the fact that she would work up in the zone. She gets it to Briggs and Rudity left to right in the LSU outfield. As that's a called strike to the right-handed hitting freshman Allie Hutchins.
Well, and I like this move. You know, Hutchins was not in the 2 spot yesterday in the lineup, and Coach Lawson, as any good coach is going to do, you control what you can, and one thing you can do is switch the lineup. They just left so many runners on base last night. So right now the question is who can hit behind Erin Koffel, and they've turned to Allie Hutchins. And she's been, for a freshman, she's been very consistent, puts the ball in play and does so hard, does not strike out a great deal. And so I like this move, putting the freshman right behind Erin Koffel. You know teams are going to pitch around Koffel. They're not going to give her anything too good to hit. You need someone who's ready for that opportunity.
And that ball right in the heart of the plate, and Hutchins was locked up and couldn't unload on it.
Yeah, I don't think Hutchins is going to get a better pitch this entire evening. This one came right down the middle. You can see the look on her face.
Sure.
It's one of those, you know, you wish you had a do-over, but you don't. You've got to be ready to hit, especially with 2 strikes, excuse me.
Riley Smith takes ball 1. And you know, it's only the first inning, but I think, I don't know if I want to use the term critical, but if you're looking at it from a Kentucky standpoint, all those runners left on base last night, I don't think you want to start off doing it again, especially when you've already down 2-0 in the first inning.
Yeah, you just don't feel like watching the game, being a part of it last night, first half of the first inning here today. Kentucky has just been on their heels, and LSU has been the one in the driver's seat, and Kentucky needs to do something to switch that momentum, and a run would certainly go a long way. Even putting runners in motion, you know, Koffel has 3 steals on the season. Not the fastest base runner on the team, but just something to create some busy minds, some moving parts for this LSU defense.
That ball chopped in front of the plate. And a nice play by Lynch. It allows Koffel to advance to second, but with 2 outs.
With 2 outs for the Cats, your third baseman, number 33, Grace Larson.
Third baseman Grace Larson stands in. Hitless last night in the series opener. Boy, and I'm telling you, Kelly Lynch is pounding the inside part of the plate.
I like your word, and I would even go a step further, relentless. You are right. She's just really tucking that pitch inside. A little bit of a low rise ball. Fastball, locating a fastball. She's got great accuracy and can really command and locate that pitch as well.
And that ball's blooped into center field for a base hit. They'll send Koffel, throw to the plate. Boy, that was probably a little closer than Erin Koffel thought because she didn't get down, but the Wildcats get one back as the RBI single from Larson makes it a 2-1 game.
This is exactly what Kentucky needed. Lorsung stays up on plane with the ball, and Sierra Briggs throws an absolute rocket to the plate. You were right, that is close. Sierra Briggs is a 2-time Rawlings Gold Glove player, and she's showing you that not only can she cover a lot of ground out there and catch the ball, she's very strong arm as well.
Wow, and then first pitch from Lynch to Taylor Ebbs is a wild pitch. And with 2 outs, Lorsung now gets herself into scoring position. And there's another one outside. Like you said, very uncharacteristic for Lynch because both those balls were in the dirt.
Yeah, hasn't really made a real competitive pitch yet for Ebbs.
No.
Ebbs really hasn't had to make too many decisions.
You know, I don't know if something happened or not, whether it's because it just looks like there might be a little discomfort there. I don't know whether it's because of the situation or, I mean, she's not the kind of pitcher that normally misses 4 outside like that in the same spot, right? Wasn't like they were trying to pitch around anybody or anything.
Well, and again, she's really continues to work to that same side of the plate, whether it's a right-handed batter, left-handed batter. She really hasn't thrown or shown a lot of other pitches. And
yeah.
Coach Tarina going out to have a conversation with Lynch.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's asking her if she's okay. I mean, it looks...
Both of these coaches, just their consistency in which they run their programs, they just reload. They know how to win and do so at a high level.
And that's the 5th straight ball from Lynch. There you see the numbers for Plotz. She came in last night, got a pinch hit in 2 plate appearances.
Well, the LSU pitching staff as a whole, they don't give in to walks. You know, they're very rare with free passes. And the amount of balls we've seen from Lynch is quite surprising.
6 in a row. Lorsung at second, Ebbs at first. And that's 7 in a row.
Well, and not competitive, you know, not really forcing the Kentucky hitters to make some decisions. We saw that last night. That's all Berzon did, was just constantly, you know, where is she going to throw it? How fast is it going to go? And Kelly Lynch finally gets on track, but still a good hitters count here for Plotz, who has home run power, one of the best long ball hitters on the Kentucky team.
3-1 pitch. Plotz was looking for it and popped it up. Boy, just couldn't get her feet underneath her at first base was Gutierrez. That ball just kind of fell into the proverbial no man's land.
Well, if I'm Peyton Plotz, I'm looking inner half of the plate right here, and I'm going to really work hard to be on time. We haven't seen a lot of off-speed pitches.
Boy, she just got underneath it. Ball out to center field. Briggs has got it, and the inning is over. But not before the Cats get a run on a hit. They leave 2 on base. And in this league, it gets real right from the get-go, right? That's why you have this top 25 matchup here between number 21 and number 3.
Also, can't say enough about Mizzou. They just continue to win at a high level. 2-0 now in the league as well.
So here's the freshman, Maddox McKee, who had such an outstanding debut last night, starting at third base. 2 for 3, scored a couple of runs, had an RBI, played flawlessly in the field. And now she's ahead in the count, 3-0. Vickers got out of a jam thanks to that inning-ending double play.
Vickers hasn't really shown a lot of off-speed, and it felt like LSU really timed her up well in that first inning. So She have to stretch the zone a little bit more if she's not going to use the off speed.
Tough play. Koffel had to set. Boy, she juggled it in her glove. She had to reset just a little bit, and that was the difference. And that'll be an infield hit. Tough play, but you can see Erin Koffel thought she should have made it.
Can't say enough about McKee. Just finds ways on base, but yeah, see Koffel just that couldn't quite find the grip right away, and that's all it takes. It's a very close play at first base. Clearly she is safe, and here comes LSU. Last night, 5 out of the 7 innings, they had the leadoff batter on. Here today, 2 for 2.
Last night, it was a slick ball as Carissa Hamilton is going to go out to talk to her pitcher now. And tonight it's just cold enough where that ball can really be slick as well. Carson last night. Not in the lineup. But another left-handed bat in there today.
And LSU just has such good plate discipline. You know, rarely have we seen them take a swing at a pitch that's not in the strike zone. I mean, they just are so disciplined, tremendous plate awareness. This is a veteran team, and even though Carson wasn't in the lineup last night, I mean, she's a veteran player. I mean, you take a look at look at that. Just in 20 games, just 45 strikeouts as a team. On some teams, you could look at 2 players and they'd have 45 strikeouts combined through 20 games. Just so disciplined.
Popped up to the infield. Koffel puts it away for out number 1.
With 1 out, second baseman number 23, Sierra Daniel.
And with 1 out, here's Sierra Daniel, who sets the table for the top of the order, and I thought she was really good last night too. 2 for 3 with a run scored, had a walk. Tried to lay down the bunt. Hamilton couldn't handle it. It'll be a stolen base, and without sacrificing, it in essence is a sacrifice.
And that's something LSU does not do a great deal of. I mean, coming into this game, just 19 stolen bases. That's their 20th on the season. For a very high, powerful offense, you know, they tend to hit their runs in, so to speak, have a lot more RBI. They're not a real short game team. They don't really steal a lot of bases, but they have been able to, and why not? When you're able to put the ball in play, you're not striking out a lot. You're able to put the ball in play and do so with some pace on it. You've been able to put up runs in a hurry.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Tobias. Boy, she didn't get that one real cleanly either. Got a friend of mine who's a major league umpire. Go ahead, Carol. Wow.
Just good hustle by Daniel, you know, just from the get-go, right out of the box, taken off. But Tobias, she's a little shaky out there today, and just having a hard time looking it in. And you know, the ball's going to find you when you're having those days, so you've got to be able to flush them and get ready for the next play. That's what softball's really all about.
It's all ball, because a friend of mine is a major league umpire, and he said even when you're umpiring, he said, you get 1 tough call, you're going to get 3 calls. And he says it's hard to get that monkey off your back. And it's the same way with fielders and hitters. And that ball is lifted to short center. Koffel goes out and gets it. And that's the inning. And being a 5th year, and she said, you know, she doesn't have to buy into what we're doing, but she's embraced it. And,
you know, and a lot more transfers across the country, and when you can have a transfer, you don't have a lot of time. A lot of times as freshmen, you can indoctrinate them in over the course of time. But when you have someone come in and they're going to be there a few months, within a year max,
right?
Sometimes 9 months, you've got to embrace and immerse them in your culture immediately. And then the nice thing about Kelly Lynch is, she's coming from a program that was at the Women's College World Series a year ago, and a very strong program in Washington. She's a graduate transfer, so very mature. And for LSU to be able to add a player of her caliber to this already very loaded team is just a real plus.
And as the DP last night, she was 1 for 4. As that foul got Ron White, but he puts the mask right back on. That may have been the first pitch we've seen from Lynch on the outside half of the plate.
Can't agree more. And she looks better already, though, in this inning. She looks a lot better, a little more comfortable. Working from ahead, which is a place she typically finds herself, did not do so last inning.
Boy, what a nice off-speed pitch that is.
Just much more efficient, tight, much tighter arm slide. This pitch just has a little bit of an upspin on it. She can throw that rise ball, a low rise, a high rise. And that particular pitch just jumped late, right over the bat of Hamilton.
And in stands Lauren Borzelleri.
Some pitchers have, when they throw a ball up in the zone, quite often, low rise, high rise, and some have kind of a glove side spin. They'll come to their glove side a little bit more naturally. And with Lynch, clearly she comes more arm side, pitching side spin, but she can locate it. She can put it down in the zone by the knee. She can put it up by the chest. Just really good command. Even though the pitch is spinning the same, it's because of her location, her release point. Looks like 3 or 4 different pitches.
Well, I've got to tell you, this is the first time I've had a chance to see her live. I mean, she is committed to that scouting report now. I mean, everybody that plays at this level has got to have some confidence, but boy, she is not deviated at all. Tried to get her to chase a bad one. Wouldn't be surprised here if she came back, tried to go with that same pitch she got Hamilton on.
Well, if I'm Kentucky, we haven't gone through the entire lineup yet. We're in number 8 batter in the lineup here with Borzelleri. But at least 80% of her pitches plus have been on the inner half, middle to inner half. So I'm going to back off the plate a little bit, even more so than Borzelleri is right now. Give yourself a chance to let the pitch clear a little bit. Give yourself a chance to have your hands stay inside that pitch. Get your barrel on it so you can still keep it fair.
There was a time in softball and baseball when it seemed like everybody was concentrating on moving up or moving back in the box. And now I agree with you. It's either moving back or moving up toward the plate.
Sure. And again, it does depend on the pitcher, but and it depends on the pitcher's arsenal.
Got that ball up and up in the air, and Pleasance had a little snow cone right there, but hauls it in.
Well, there's a lot of wind. I mean, that flag's holding on for dear life out there in center field. It's
I'm gonna have to check it
very,
now.
very breezy. You take a look at that. So when the higher the ball is in the air, boy, the wind's going to do all kinds of things with it. Got to keep your feet moving and continue to communicate. And it looks like it's going to be a routine play, but nothing is on a night like tonight with that swirling wind.
And it started out, as Tobias fouls back the first pitch, it started out at about 12 miles an hour. And I just got to believe from what I'm looking at, well, they say it's 11 right now. Looks to me like it's blowing harder than it was. Tobias lost the bat, fouled that one off.
Well, Tobias still looking for her first extra base hit on the season, and because she really is a true slapper, short game specialist. Washington, look how short they've made the field. The left fielder is nearly playing on the infield.
Boy, and that's a nice pitch on the outside part of the plate. Good bounce back inning for Lynch. That's her Tiger.
He's coming into this series the entire season. They only had 13 errors. They've had 6 in the last 9 innings.
Tobias had 2 on the one play. Riley Smith had 1 to start the game off. So those 2 LSU runs in the first inning, only 1 was earned. So 8 runs the Cats have given up so far in these first 2 games, and only 3 of those were earned runs. Allie Newland had an RBI single for 1 of those runs in the first.
Newland, another one of those veteran players for LSU. This is a veteran lineup. 5th-year seniors. There's a 6th-year senior, Hannah Carson.
The ball's lifted to left. The wind will carry it back towards center, but Smith underneath for out number 1.
With one out for the Tigers, shortstop number 17, Taylor Pleasance.
Taylor Pleasance hit the ball hard in her first appearance, but right at Tobias. Carol, you have mentioned the experience on this LSU team. That is an eye-popping graphic right there.
Over 3,000 at-bats coming into this season. I mean, that is just experience with a lot of exclamation points behind us. I mean, you think about all of that knowledge and all of those things that LSU brings with them every single game. You can't put a price tag on that type of experience. And Danica Coffey would be on that list too. She's out for the season, torn ACL.
Pleasance hit that ball a long way, but foul.
Yeah, even her foul balls are loud.
Right?
Foul balls.
There's Coffey. She's going to take that redshirt year, we understand, and be back next year.
Just a heartbreaking loss for LSU. She is just one of the catalysts that really has made this team go. I mean, Beth Torina wrote her name in the top of the lineup card for 2 straight years.
Can you imagine?
That is a long time. And very unfortunate that she is out for the rest of the season.
Roll her down to first, and it's taken care of by Borzilleri. 2 up and 2 down for the Tigers.
First baseman number 55, Raylene Gutierrez.
And here comes Raylene Gutierrez, who also had an RBI single in the first.
I like what I've seen from Vickers here as the game has progressed. You know, had a little bit of a rough start, a little bit keeping the ball too much over the plate. This is her first SEC start.
Right.
And even though she's a veteran as well, a transfer from Rutgers, very successful career there. You know, she wanted the challenge of the SEC, but so I'm sure she had a few nerves going in, and of course her defense didn't help her out there either early in that inning, but really stretching the zone a little more, good movement on her curveball.
1-1 pitch, grounded to Tobias, and Vickers has her first 1-2-3 inning. The Cats come up for the 3rd time. Behind by 1, off the first base line. There you go.
That's Quinlan Duhan, director of ops. Long-time
nice is that?
director of ops for LSU, and I would say that is, quote, other duties as assigned. She does it all for the Tiger program.
Not spelled out, but expected or something. That's great. Ball right on the inside part of the plate where she's been putting it all night.
Boy, Koffel, and that's a fantastic pitch from Kelly Lynch, just tucking it right in the corner.
Right.
Nothing Koffel can do. I'd like to see Koffel back off the plate just a little bit. They have been relentless with that pitch.
Jammed up on the hands again. Pleasance on the outfield grass. And there's one gone. And it's a big one when you can retire Koffel.
And when you call that pitch over and over and over, that's a lot of trust in your pitcher. You're trusting that she's going to be able to locate every time, and she did. That's exactly how they got Koffel out.
And so just as you predicted, Allie Hutchins, who was substituted for, comes back in.
For Kentucky, number 7, Allie Hutchins.
Hutchins caught looking, back in the first. I would love to see a chart on her pitch location. I mean, you see the first pitch strikes, but I am telling you, once or twice to the outside part of the plate. Now 3.
A little off-speed pitch there as well, just really giving the hitters a different look.
Advertisement. Another jam job. And Bergeron made a nice dive for it, but couldn't quite get there.
And it looks, it's tunneling in. Pitch is tunneling in. It's got a late break, and there's not a lot on this. Good effort there by Bergeron. That's really the only person who had a remote attempt for the ball. You love that effort. It's not easy to run back there with all the gear on and mask on.
She located it quickly. And that ball is ripped to left and gone. First time that Lynch has really missed. She didn't get it as much inside as she wanted. And so Hutchins turns on it. It's her 3rd homer of the year, and a solo shot ties this one at 2.
And Hutchins was hunting this pitch. Starts her swing a little earlier, opens up that hip, and keeps her hands inside, and absolutely is on time. That ball gets out of here in about a second. Kept it fair, got her barrel in front. That is a huge home run for Kentucky.
Absolutely.
A big lift to tie this game.
Only question was it going to stay fair? And it just straightened out as it snuck in that pole. As Riley Smith now ahead in the count. 1-0. And she gets a base hit. Going to take a big turn at second. She's not stopping. Throw isn't in time. And back-to-back hits for the Wildcats. And Smith in scoring position.
Back-to-back hits, exactly what Kentucky needed. This one's down in the zone. And right now, Kentucky is on time with Kelly Lynch. They are not fooled by that speed. And I love the aggressive base running. Riley Smith was thinking 2 right off the bat. A good turn at first base. Another runner in scoring position.
Grace Lorsing steps in and swings through an off-speed pitch. Raylan Chafin, a right-hander, getting ready to work. Actually working now down in the LSU pen. And she's joined down there by another righty. Emma Stroud. And Smith's at second. Lorsing now in the hole 0-2. Got her with a couple of those off-speed pitches and walked her up the ladder.
With 2 outs for the Cats, your right fielder.
Well, that's a question you always have as a coach. What is your pitcher going to do when they give up something? Or, walk. Clearly Lynch, a home run and a double. What are they going to do? Well, Kelly Lynch comes right back with 3 pitches and changes the momentum of this inning.
Boy, ever since that home run, I mean, I don't know whether it was just a momentary bad pitch, but she's been spot on since instead of hanging her head. Ebbs walked in her only appearance in this game, and now she finds herself behind in the count 0-2.
Yeah, after that double, 5 straight pitches, 5 straight strikes for Kelly Lynch.
Got a conversation with LSU coach Beth Torina coming up at the top of the next inning. Pitch is fouled off by Ebbs.
Good at bat here by Ebbs, just not giving in, fouling a few pitches off. And this would be a huge lift for Kentucky. They can find a way to score that run and take their first lead of the series.
Ball stayed upstairs.
That's just good barrel control, and that's something you have to practice to be able to foul something off. Coaches say that all the time, or fans, just foul it off. Stay alive, hang in there. Well, you have to practice that a little bit because it's not an easy skill to do.
And that got her looking, but the Wildcats get even on the solo homer by Hutchins. We're tied 2-2. Long night last night. A lot of weird stuff happened and everything, but your ladies came out and immediately got 2 in the first.
That all year long. They've done such a good job of just having answers for everything, and they did that last night. It was a long, long night, but glad we were able to come out on top.
Well, Coach, I know you'd rather have Danica coffee on the field. It looked like she was your hydration specialist over there, giving you a little drink of water before you headed over. But, you've had to fill out someone new in the leadoff spot. You haven't had to do that for 2 years. What went into putting Sierra Briggs in that slot?
Well, we definitely miss Danica. I mean, we're calling her Coach Danica now, though. So, she's keeping us hydrated, keeping us going. She's just such an awesome person. She reminds me every day to have fun, whether she's out here playing or in the dugout. But I think it's a no-brainer when you have somebody like Sierra Briggs. We virtually have operated with 2 leadoff hitters for the last 2 years. But, when you have somebody like Sierra Briggs that just represents every single thing about this program, every standard. If I told you to look at one player and that's the person that, would best represent us, I tell you to look out at Sierra Briggs. She's everything we're about.
Thanks, Coach. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right. Boy, it is so good to see that. You see that camaraderie there in the dugout. Boy, like you said, it would be so easy for that young lady to be hanging her head or not make the trip or whatever, and she just wants to be with her teammates, and I just think that is special. Boy, that's a little dangerous, but Mackenzie Rudity leads off with a hit.
Designated player number 12, Mason
And
Calderon.
out there in right field, I believe that's Ebbs who tried to fire it into first. Kentucky this weekend has thrown the ball around the ballpark a little bit. As we mentioned, 3 errors last night, 3 tonight. but you've got Rudity on first. Macy Bergeron, and LSU could have had a big inning in that first inning, but if you remember, it was Bergeron who hit one on a line, and Ebbs got it and turned it into an inning-ending double play, or else LSU would have had at least a couple of more runs.
There is no spot in this batting order where you feel like you can catch your breath. I mean, they all are disciplined. You know, they understand the strike zone. This is a team that does not strike out very often, so you can hit and run a lot, you know, put the ball in play.
Bergeron, the catcher, the only right-handed hitter in this LSU lineup tonight. Runner goes and steals easily. And as you mentioned last night, LSU doesn't run a lot, but Rudity got a big jump, and are they going to send her back? Send her back and send her out. They say she left early.
Yeah, we didn't see the delayed dead ball signal. Get a better look at it here. And she is indeed off the base.
No question.
There's the delayed dead ball, and remember, it's the result of the play. You can either, defense has the option, take the result of the play, which would have been a stolen base, or you know, the runner leaving early, and that's a big out for Kentucky. You know, LSU comes right back after Kentucky's able to tie the game. They get the leadoff batter on. It is a game of momentum. Now the momentum shifts back to Kentucky.
Well, that was a big play, and I understand it's a tie game. You're trying to make something happen, but doesn't it seem like it always happens like that when you do something that you don't normally do? Does that make sense or not?
Well, LSU's just trying to make something happen.
Yeah,
you know,
I like it.
Put the runner in motion, and you know, if the hitter swings, the hitter swings. Bergeron did go ahead and swing. Didn't make good contact there, but it's an aggressive call. I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, Kentucky has not had a lot of success throwing base runners out.
And I don't think they would have gotten her had she not left early. That ball on the inside part of the plate, and that's a punch out. First strikeout of the night for Vickers.
Vickers, a little more emotion in the circle than you're going to see from the rest of the Kentucky pitching staff. That is a curveball painted on the inside corner, and credit to her catcher, Hamilton. Not an easy pitch to catch, and that ball's breaking away. Really stuck that pitch. Big strikeout.
And so with 2 outs, Maddox McKee, the third baseman, got a single tonight. Boy, she continues to have a huge weekend. And from a bounce back standpoint, Carol, when Kentucky was trying to stay in it last night, I believe it was Hamilton that had that pass ball that allowed a run. And then she was sub 4 after the rain delay, I believe. And she has come out and been very confident tonight. Rachel Lawson there, no longer calling the pitches. We'll be talking to her before the Cats hit in the home half of the fourth. That ball is just flared, and Nesby is there, and a 1-2-3 inning for Nesby. Rachel Lawson, I know last night was probably disappointing, infuriating, all of the above, but your young ladies, I thought, have bounced back really well tonight.
Yeah, I think we're doing a really good job. You know, it starts with Jaden in the circle. She's doing a great job mixing her pitches and keeping. They're a great, great offense. She's doing a good job keeping them off balance.
Well, Coach, you mentioned Jaden Vickers, a veteran pitcher, but this is her first SEC game. What are you liking so far about your lefty?
I just love the courage she's shown on the mound. You know, she's going out, she's pitching her game as if she's been in the SEC her entire time. So I'm just really proud of the performance she's putting up.
How are things going with you? Not calling those pitches anymore. Are you keeping yourself occupied?
It's hard, you know, like, you know, you're used to doing something your whole life, and, you know, you're reacting to everything now instead of kind of being in control, putting things on the front end. So, you know, it's good, but this is what the program needs, and Grace is awesome, so can't complain.
Thanks, Rachel. We appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
All right. It is hard for her. I mean, I think she told me at one point in time that she likes to see 23 or 25 at bats from an opposing player before she decides how she's going to pitch to her. And I'm sure she's still doing that, but I think it's very unselfish, you know, to hand that over to Grace Ballman, who she thinks the world of, and help advance her career. And she obviously believes she's ready for it.
I mean, it shows tremendous trust. It really does. And credit to Rachel Lawson for kind of reinventing herself in her career. She really doesn't need to. I mean, this program has been an annual top 25 program. You look out on the wall and you see all the regionals and super regionals, and they all have to do with Rachel Lawson being the leader. And you know, she's an excellent strategist, loves to create a game plan, really calls pitches very well. And for her to give up one of the things that's her strength to one of her players just shows a lot of faith in Grace Ballman, and really just a lot of credit to Rachel Lawson. I was joking with her. I said, what are you doing now? I mean, do you do substitutions and that's about it? And, you know, of course she laughed. I know she does way more than that. But, again, credit to Coach Lawson for just continuing to reinvent herself.
Well, in the Bellarmine game, as Plotz is set to look at the 2-2 pitch, and Lynch got her swinging. So in the Bellarmine game, I guess Kayla Kowalik, who is like a grad assistant or whatever you call it now, there she is. She's in charge of managing things in the dugout. And so Rachel was doing her job. And she did such a bad job at it that they put her out there coaching first base, because Molly Johnson-Belcher, who's back out there tonight, she was honored as one of the SEC legends at the women's basketball tournament the other night. And so she said she was doing such a bad job, they just got her out of the dugout.
Well, and Kowalik, talk about other duties as assigned. She was in charge of holding the umbrella over Coach Lawson last night while she was calling pitches. And Kayla Kowalik, I mean, that's the thing about this program at Kentucky. I mean, they want to continue to be a part of the program, their professional development and growth as coaches, and, you know, as graduate students. And Kayla Kowalik, boy, they're hard to find a more decorated player throughout their career here at Kentucky than Kayla Kowalik.
And it was not the best umbrella in the world last night. It's like, you know, if you have a spare in your car and it's that little bitty spare that's only going to get you so far, it's like, come on, can we not get a real umbrella?
Probably had a hole in it. Throwing it in and out. You know, it was that kind of night for Kentucky, let's be honest.
Yes,
it was that kind of night for Kentucky.
Yes,
much different approach in tonight's game.
That's a pretty off-speed pitch.
And what makes it so tough to hit from Kelly Lynch is her delivery's the same. You know, she doesn't slow anything down, stays aggressive with her stride, her arm circle.
Speaking of Ballman, I think now that you mention it, that Lynch's demeanor in the circle is very reminiscent of Grace Ballman. It's like she didn't have much of a pulse, whether it was a tie game or whether they were down 10 or up 10. And that got her on a knee. And so Hamilton, and typically, have they already lifted her for a courtesy runner once? I can't remember.
No, she hasn't had a substitution yet, although it looks like Coach Lawson may indeed do so right now. Well, you could hear that from up here. And, you know, Lynch loves to live on the inside corner. This one, she doesn't quite close it up enough, releases the ball a little bit too early, and
That's
You
right
don't
on the front
have
of the
to
knee.
get out of the way if you are in the batter's box. And yeah, you could hear it from up here. It was just a big thump, big thud, and you can see she's limping a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, catchers are they're just truly unbelievable. The ball finds them when they have the gear on. That's the last thing she needs
Right.
is when she's in the batter's box to also kind of wear one, but something they're very used to.
So Hallie Mitchell down at first to pinch run. And Lauren Borzilleri takes ball one. I haven't mentioned it yet, but you see those pink Kentucky socks and the pink plate, or the pink outline of the state of Kentucky. That's in for a called strike behind the plate. It's Women's Empowerment Weekend that Kentucky is celebrating here this weekend. And there you see the pink, I call them toboggans. I don't know if they're beanies or whatever they are, but I mean, I don't know if they were scheduled to give them out tonight or not, but it's very appropriate as it gets cooler. Somebody's got one, bring it up here to Brugg.
It sure is. It was 70 degrees a couple days ago here, and today in the 40s.
Jay Billis can have all that Rupp Arena ice cream he wants, right? I mean, bring something warm up here. That wind continues to blow out.
Well, and I think it's great. Kentucky is celebrating the empowerment.
Isn't it, though?
March is, you know, Women's History Month,
Yep.
so it all ties together.
And it's great to see so many mothers and daughters out here. That ball hard hit the second, could be two. The turn, 6-4-3. LSU throwing the leather. Half I've ever dealt with in all the years I've been doing this. I mean, they're obviously great at what they do, but they're such great people. And I'm glad that we're able to get behind the scenes like that.
Well, it's something softball takes a lot of pride in. You know, softball is a sport that isn't afraid to share. If you come
Right.
to our bigger events, the NCAA convention, or just if you're out recruiting, sitting with coaches, you strike up a conversation. I mean, everyone's willing to share it. It doesn't matter if it's a high school coach sitting with a Division III assistant or a Division I head coach. I mean, everyone's sharing and very personable. I really think it's that inside look and the ability to share information, not hold it on tight, you know, but let the world know. The better you get, the better everyone else has to get in order to win. So it's really helped our sport grow, and just a lot of fun with the SEC mic'd up Mondays. You get to get a better look of the coaches' personalities and really what happens during a game.
Tobias going to her right, makes a nice play. It wasn't all that easy to get Carson in the leadoff spot here in the top of inning number 5.
Sierra Daniel.
Well,
Go ahead.
you take a look at Jaden Vickers, and you know, you and I talked about it before the game. With all the left-handed batters in the LSU lineup, you know, makes sense to have a lefty in the circle. I think Kentucky would have gone with Vickers with any team. You know, Schoonover was going to be the Friday starter in the SEC, and Vickers coming in. But what Vickers has done so far this season, her total batting average against left-handed batters is 140. And so this is an even better matchup, you know, than anticipated. And a lot of it has to do with that curveball that breaks away from left-handed batters. We saw Schoonover last night try to do the same thing with her screwball. She's a right-handed pitcher. She was trying to catch that corner, really, you know, struggled a little bit, was very close on a lot of pitches. But Vickers has been able to stretch the zone when she's ahead.
Right.
And really paint the corner when she needs something on the corner, and that's been her best pitch. She can throw a screwball as well, but it's been the curveball against the left-handed batters breaking outside that LSU's had a hard time in especially these last few innings.
Hamilton tried to pull that back in, but Daniel ahead in the count now, 3-1.
Now, she does only have 2 complete games on the season, so you just kind of wonder how long she's going to be able to go. But the more efficient you are with your pitches, keeping the pitch count down, you know, as long as your pitches are still moving through the zone, you're having a lot of success, you'll stick with her.
And that ball tapped right back up the middle. Good piece of hitting, didn't try to do too much, knew where she wanted to take it. And now the table is set for the top.
As freshmen from LSU that have come in, have had a couple injuries, to the veteran players of LSU, and they're like, all right, here we go, freshmen. You probably were a year away, but now you're not. Here you go, and they have performed at a very high level. That shows you the culture of the LSU program, training the young players. When your number's called, you're ready to roll.
And those two freshmen combined are 2 for 4 tonight, as you see Daniel at first, and Sierra Briggs takes a called strike. One out here in this tie game in the 5th. Stayed outside. Is that right? First back-to-back history? That's amazing that nobody else has done that.
Yeah, and it's the first 2 years that Rawlings has sponsored the Gold Glove for collegiate softball. And just like in Major League Baseball, for Division I, there's one for every player on the field, specifically left field, center field, right field, and then all the other positions. And Rawlings also has generously sponsored for Division II, Division III, NAI, so there's some Gold Glove winners at all divisions. But for Division I, we've had 2 years of the Rawlings Gold Glove, and she's the only 2-time winner and has a shot for 3. There's a lot of tremendous center fielders out there, but if you take a look at some of the videos LSU has put together on her, just her ability to make not only the routine plays, but just the really stealing extra outs for her team by being able to cover a lot of ground out there. Just something I know Sierra Briggs is very proud of. Takes a lot of pride in her defense as a center fielder. And it's nice that now there's a defensive award. You can be rewarded for that. There's some players out there who aren't as savvy offensively. Briggs is the leadoff hitter now for this team, and it's a chance to be rewarded. If maybe you're not as strong of an offensive player, but you really make a difference on defense, it's an award for that.
Full count pitch, and they got her. Briggs didn't like the call. Neither does first base coach Bryce Neal.
We talked about LSU does not strike out often. This pitch at the very bottom of the zone. Credit to the catcher there, Hamilton, really catching the bottom of the ball, pulling that ball to the bottom of the strike zone. I would give the assist there to Hamilton.
No question. And with 2 outs, there's a first pitch grounder and another great play by Lorsing. And nothing going for the Tigers, despite the hit.
We talked about it a little bit yesterday. It's going to be so much fun for the fans to have Texas and Oklahoma in this league. Not so much fun if you're a head coach.
Right. Or an opposing pitcher. Kelly Lynch didn't have the best of starts, but she has settled down and held Kentucky to 2 runs on just 3 hits. Margaret Tobias trying to set the table for the top of the order the same way that Daniel did for LSU. Wow. Yeah, we actually wasn't quite as cold last night, but we saw that something I'd never seen before. Koffel break a bat. And that slapped down to third. What a pick down at first base. Wow. Gutierrez, that was a really difficult play.
With 1 out for the Cats.
I mean, behind every good infield is an even better first baseman. And this throw goes right in the dirt. Gutierrez makes it look simple, keeps her glove nice and low. That's just a lot of practice and a lot of glove work and not an easy play.
And so even though she takes a called first strike, 2-2 game here in the home half of the fifth. And Erin Koffel can make it 3-2 with one swing of the bat. She may have taken your advice. It looks like maybe she's backed up a little bit.
Yeah, she sure has. And, you know, that's just making adjustments as the game goes along. Kelly Lynch, you know, won the last at bat, just really pounded that inside corner, got Koffel to pop up, and you can see Koffel much closer to the Kentucky dugout side of the batter's box.
It is not a subtle move she has made in the box.
And you have to practice those things. You know,
right.
It's one thing to say, hey, let's just make this adjustment. Let's move up. Let's move back. But you've got to take batting practice. You've got to take live at-bats in that position so you feel comfortable. And clearly, Lynch being very careful in this situation.
Yes, she
and everybody's got Koffel circled on their scouting report. And in this situation, as you mentioned, she can change the scoreboard with one swing. Now, in the first inning, Koffel drew a walk and she came around to score.
I thought she might get the green light at 3-0, and that ball falls just foul. Wind blowing out and everything. I thought that might be a time that Rachel Lawson would cut her loose.
Yeah, I mean, does she ever have the red light? I'm not sure if she does, but how about the effort from Allie Newland?
Yeah.
Complete commitment to making the catch and just comes up short. You can't do it any better than that. Just, you know, that one might have hurt a little bit on a cold night, but that is full commitment to that out, and she almost came up with a fantastic play.
You can see her. She's trying to shake it off, and she will. And now, what does Lynch do at 3-1, 3-2? Walked her.
Now batting for the Cats, your third baseman, number 7.
This is where the batting order matters. We talked about at the beginning of the game. Allie Hutchins has not hit in the 2 spot behind Erin Koffel. Coach Rachel Lawson making that switch today. Hutchins has been a very consistent hitter. Even though she's a freshman, she's been a very consistent hitter in the lineup. Hits the ball hard and just, you know, very solid, what I call between the ears. Just loves the opportunity, very consistent. And in her last at-bat,
yes, she did.
Hit the home run.
Tied it up in the third with a solo shot. And once again, Lynch being particularly careful. Speed pitch gets the inside part of the plate. And it's interesting. Koffel was back in the box, but then back toward the catcher. Hutchins up in the box.
And Hutchins just, you know, really doesn't have an approach like a freshman. Just a real very confident hitter.
She moved up toward the front of the box a little bit more and got it. Like you said, she's a youngster. That was a veteran piece of hitting right there, Carol.
Yeah, got an off-speed pitch and was able to keep her hands back enough. She gets fooled a little bit, takes that step early, hits the ball out in front, but keeps her hands back long enough to be able to flare the ball through the infield with 2 strikes. Just really impressed with Hutchins and love that she is now the hitter behind Erin Koffel. Let's see if it pays off for Kentucky this inning.
Freshman from Paducah. Riley Smith stands in. Fouls the first pitch back. Rachel Lawson said instead of a freshman that Hutchins went about things like she was a 30-year-old pro player. She's very purposeful about what she does. And they'll check to see, and Smith held up.
Smith is having an exceptional season as well. Just has her batting average up over 100 points from last year. Really worked on things over the summer and paying off for her this season.
Ball missed just outside, and so Koffel at second, Hutchins at first. And Smith is going to get a look at a 2-1 pitch in a tie game.
No one's been able to crack the code this season against LSU and find a way to win. And LSU's been able to win the slugfest. They win the close games. Kentucky has a great opportunity here.
Now the count is run full.
Take your pitch, you're on it. Go after her.
Chafin and Sydney Berzon, who was the winner last night, now both loosening in the LSU pen. And I have not had a chance to see Chafin, but Berzon would be a dramatically different look for these Kentucky hitters.
Berzon, one of the top leaders in saves in the nation. She also has those wins as a starter, but she's been very effective late in games as well.
Boy, really good pitch right there by Lynch. Really good sequence. And now,
when you have command of an off-speed pitch, took a little off that screwball, took a little bit off it. It just, you can see how far in front of the ball Riley Smith is. No chance in that case. Kelly Lynch, you know, stepping up big in big moments in this game. She's fallen behind some hitters, struggled at times, but boy, when her team has needed her the most, she's been able to make that key pitch.
and Rachel Lawson is re-entering Grace Lorsing right here with 2 on and 2 out. Lorsing had an RBI single for Kentucky's run in the first. Boy, she hit that one pretty well, but pulled it foul. Just out in front of it by a smidge, but that's all it takes.
Well, and Kentucky's really, you know, this is their 3rd time through the lineup.
Yep.
Lynch has stuck to her plan. We haven't seen too much different from the first inning, and we're seeing those adjustments. Lorsung off the plate a little bit as well, just trying to stay inside.
Popped her up. Catcher, wow, what a play by Bajeron. That wind had a hold of that ball, but the Cats leave 2 more. Things off here in the 6th. And here's a couple of kids that know each other, right? Pleasance and Aaron Koffel, both on the USA team. They played in Japan, right?
Just, you know, they're opponents tonight, but they're on the same team when they wear those 3 letters across their chest, and just 2 of the best players, not only in the college game and in this league, but also in our country.
We've been blessed to see them on display this weekend. And Pleasance in an unusual spot as she takes strike 1. Here in the 6th, looking for her first hit. Grounded out to second, grounded out to first. And once again, down there to third. And that one handled by Borzilleri, and 1 up and 1 down.
Vickers is having success because she's able to command both sides of the plate tonight. Very difficult for LSU to just look away or just look in. Her curveball has been her most impactful pitch, but she's also been able to use that screwball, rise ball combination.
That ball lifted to short left, and Smith I didn't know if she was going to get there or not on the ball hit by Gutierrez. She initially took a step back, but that wind just kept carrying it, and she was able to get it.
With 2 outs, right fielder number 4, Mackenzie Rudity.
And now Mackenzie Rudity stands in, and quickly Vickers has retired the first 2, and Beth Torina wants to have a word with Rudity.
Yeah, and this is, in my opinion, just a little bit of a tempo timeout. You know, 2 quick outs there from Vickers. And, you know, Coach Torina doesn't want her team to head back out on defense anytime soon. So just really trying to break the rhythm here of the game, break the rhythm of Vickers a little bit. It's really locked in.
Rudity reached on an error, singled in the 4th. At least on the first pitch to her, Vickers remains locked in. Real contrast tonight. Vickers has only struck out 2, while Lynch has struck out 7.
And any pitcher will tell you, of course, their first goal is to strike a hitter out. There's no doubt. But after that, if that's not going to happen, you just want to control the hitter. You want to create outs for your defense.
Right.
And that's something we've seen Vickers do. Not a lot of solid hits ball. In the first inning, we saw a few. We're seeing one here.
Boy, that's hit well. That's going to get down into the corner. Rudity looked at 3, but she gets the stop sign from her head coach. And now the tying run is in scoring position here in the 6th.
Rudity's having just a terrific series. Gets out in front of the ball, just finds inside the fair foul line. Now Rudity's got great speed and was thinking about 3, but late in the game, it's a tie game.
Right.
You've got a chance to have a runner in scoring position versus, you know, you never want to, you always say that, never make the 3rd out of the inning. First or 3rd out at 3rd base, although, you know, if it's a clear-cut triple, she was going to take it. But it was going to be close, and made the good decision to keep herself at 2nd base. Give the Tigers a shot for the go-ahead run.
Rudity 2 for 3 last night, 2 for 3 tonight. And Bergeron count even at 1-1. Ball stayed upstairs.
Just good discipline by Bergeron. Not a lot of wasted movement. Just very still with her hands, her head. Really locked in for this at-bat.
That ball's flared into right. That's going to be a base hit. Here comes Rudity. Throw to the plate. And it's not in time. Ball gets away from Hamilton. And that allows Bergeron to advance to 2nd. And LSU has reclaimed the lead 3-2.
What an at-bat from Bergeron, the best stat in the game. This pitch is a little too much over the plate. Bergeron does not miss. And the best stat in the game, in my opinion, is a 2-out RBI. You've got to earn it. You've got to make something happen for your team. LSU with the go-ahead run.
LSU with a go-ahead run. There's still 2 outs. But Rachel Lawson wants to go over everything with her team as the LSU leadoff hitter.
Let that ball get past her because Bergeron was staying at first base with the throw came to the plate, but because the ball got away, that's the 4th error of the game for Kentucky. They've come at crucial times. And there's going to be another runner in scoring possession. Instead of keeping the ball in front, keeping Bergeron at first base. She's able to get to second on the air.
Running for LSU at second base, number 9, Madeline Giglio. Batting third baseman, number 2, Max.
And so Madeline Giglio into pinch run for LSU. We've got Ebbs out there in right field. I don't think she had any shot with that throw of hitting the cutoff person, so that led to the shortstop that got, the short hop rather, that got by Hamilton. And so now, with Giglio at second, Maddox McKee getting her first SEC Series start. And she's got 3 hits so far on the weekend.
Just been so impressed with this freshman. You know, that was a challenge for Coach Tarina coming into the season. And such a veteran team, almost all of the same players from a year ago. They had a strong team a year ago. Are back, and yet she has a very talented freshman class, and that was her challenge. How am I going to get these freshmen enough time so next year when they are the ones that they're ready to go, but also allow the veterans to shine? You know, this is their time. And unfortunately, with the injury to Coffey, McKee's had to be thrown into the lineup. She has really excelled in that role.
And Vickers gets out of the inning, but not before LSU takes the lead. Home half of the 6th comes your way, and it's 3-2 Tigers.
And they have come at crucial times in this game.
One more strikeout, and it'll be her season high. And so 5, 6, 7 for the Wildcats. Taylor Ebbs, the first to face Lynch here in the 6th. A Bergeron single to right center that scored Mackenzie Rudity in the top of the 6th, and that's the difference so far. Carson started the game as the DP, and at some point in time she and Bergeron switched, so Carson now behind the plate. That's a pop-up on the right side. That wind is going to blow the dickens out of that. And it's a fair ball. Ebbs held up. And man, is she fortunate she didn't get punched out at second. Are you kidding me?
Boy, the wind, this ball is hit a mile in the air. And Ebbs does not run hard from the get-go. Look at her there just stopping. Not really sure why she stopped. Should have been running hard the entire time. Made that a closer play than it had to be. But the assist goes to the wind on that ball. Daniel called it early, thought she had a beat on it. Rudity's playing very deep, so she did not have a shot at that ball. And Kentucky finds themselves with a runner in scoring position.
Kentucky number 99, Emory Donaldson.
So Emory Donaldson, who you see there, number 99,
Number 10,
and a pinch run for Ebbs. And that brings up to the plate Jenna Blanton. Blanton showed bunt and then pulled back. As you have mentioned, Beth Tarina has, among others, Sydney Berzon down in the bullpen. So far, she's left the ball in Lynch's hand.
Oh, Berzon is #1 in the SEC, top 10 in the country in saves. So, you know, it's a very familiar role should they decide to go that route. But the conversation there with Kentucky, Jenna Blanton does not have any extra base hits on the season.
Right.
So, you know, you would think she would move into the short game situation here like we saw her attempt, but LSU's infield is extremely tight.
Yes. And there it is. And they throw it away. My goodness. And this game is all tied up as the Cats score on the throwing error. Donaldson crosses the plate. And we've talked about that freshman all weekend long.
Well, the first time we have seen the freshman for LSU make big mistakes in this series. Everybody knew Blanton was going to lay down the bunt. She does a great job of executing, putting it in the dirt. And McKee was right on top of the ball. It was a no-doubter, but rushed her throw. Daniel didn't get to have a chance to get over there in time. Would have liked to see McKee. If you come up and the player is not at the base, just shuffle your feet toward the base. You still have time. Keep your feet moving. And a poor exchange there from the freshman. Kentucky ties the game up.
And so here's Carissa Hamilton. She hits it well, but foul. So Blanton still at second. We've talked about how well McKee has played, but it was Beth Torina who said, the freshman, you don't know what you got. And I'm sure from a scouting standpoint, Rachel Lawson and company wanted to put the ball in her hands.
Well, and you think about Lynch here, this is where it's so important to have that veteran with experience in the circle. You know, it's her first batter, she got to pop up, you know, a really high pop-up. Second batter was a bunt, and yet there's no out. So here she finds herself ahead in the count. You have to be able to, as a pitcher, bounce back. She does so right there, gets
just like
the out. And that's what you're looking for in a veteran pitcher. Some pitchers would fall apart in that situation, get frustrated, like, hey, we should be at 2 outs already this inning.
Right.
And instead, the game's tied, and the go-ahead run is at second base. But Lynch has been there, done that, showing a lot of poise here so far in this situation.
Lauren Borzilleri has hit it to Pleasance twice. First time Pleasance put her out. And then in the fourth, she hit into a 6-4-3 double play. That's timed up pretty well. After leaving 11 on base last night, the Cats have only left 5 on base tonight. LSU has stranded 4 runners. Kentucky has committed 4 errors, and LSU just committed its first in this 3-3 game.
Well, this is where it's so important. If you're LSU, not that you're always looking ahead, but you're planning ahead. And you've got the 8 batter, the 9 batter here, and you know who is in the hole. This Erin Koffel, the career home run record holder here at Kentucky. So lot playing in these next 2 at-bats here for Kentucky and LSU.
And stays outside. Here you see Koffel in between Kayla Kowalik and Rachel Lawson. Big pitch here at 2-2. Got her. And that would be her 8th strikeout of the season. And that is a season high for Kelly Lynch.
Showing you a lot of poise. Goes upstairs this time, giving Borzilleri a different look. She has not gone upstairs on her. No chance. Second big out of the inning.
And that'll bring up the 9-hitter, Margaret Tobias. Slaps it to the left side. They go right at her again. And they say safe. Beth Torina out of the dugout. Emily Belcher-Johnson immediately signaled safe. Smokey Ed said it wasn't close, if I'm reading lips right. So she misses the base, and she swiped the tag afterwards, but she lost the base and couldn't find it.
I mean, rule number one.
Let's review the play at first base of a safe off the base.
Rule number one, find the base over there. Just an odd play for Gutierrez, but that time McKee did exactly what she should have done. She got the ball quickly, shuffled her feet toward first base to allow Gutierrez a little time to get to the base, but Gutierrez never gets there.
Yeah, she got over there and this is not a very technical term, but she got discombobulated and couldn't find the base. And she's still looking for it as Tobias crosses the base. So I don't think there's any question that this call is going to stand, but the question is, if you're LSU with runners at the corners, do you pitch to Erin Koffel or do you put her on base? And do you pitch to Allie Hutchins, who's 2 for 3?
Well, this is the best case scenario for Kentucky if this play is indeed upheld, which we fully expect it to be. But if this play is upheld, that is a huge decision. Erin Koffel has proven time and time again what she's able to do in a Kentucky uniform. So if I'm LSU, I am going to pitch around Koffel with a proverbial base open. At second base, obviously she'd get to first, but Allie Hutchins, the decision to put her in the 2 spot in the lineup tonight has paid huge dividends for Kentucky. She has a home run, she has a single, she is seeing Kelly Lynch well. If indeed we get to that point, you also may see a pitching change. I anticipate a pitching change if they get to Allie Hutchins, because she has had Kelly Lynch's number.
Well, I don't know if they've got a lot of stuff going on down at the center in Birmingham, but it seems, based on what we've seen, it seems like this has taken a long time for this review. Well, that's a good call. Daniel Gibbons, our producer there. So I don't know whether she was in the lane or not, but here comes the call. Maybe that's what they were looking at.
After review, the call at first base is confirmed. She is safe.
I mean, even if she was out of the lane, and maybe she was, it didn't affect the play.
No, it was just Gutierrez did not get to the base, and it's really watching McKee, the freshman, all the momentum on the side of Kentucky right now.
So they're going to intentionally walk Koffel. Beth Torina on the top step of that dugout, and she's got her first baseman, Gutierrez, really, really up in case the ball were to get past the catcher, Carson.
Yeah, in that case, Gutierrez would cover the plate.
Yes.
You know, she would cover the plate, and this is something you can't take for granted as well. As a pitcher, battery, you can see right there. You have to practice intentional walks, and you have to practice them under duress. You have to practice them with a little pressure. It's one thing to do it in the bullpen, everything's relaxing, but this is bottom of the 6th, SEC game, and game on the line. And Lynch does indeed walk her. And again, if I'm Beth Torina, I've got Sydney Berzon in the bullpen over there. Number 1 in the SEC in saves, really had Kentucky's number. I would be thinking about a pitching change right here.
I'm looking down at that LSU dugout from up top here, and there is now she comes out. Boy, and our home plate umpire, Ron White, was locked in.
It's an effective changeup. A real power pitcher can heat it up in the upper 60s.
So you've got Jenna Blanton at third, Tobias at second, Erin Koffel, who was intentionally walked at first. And Chafin comes in a pressure-packed situation here in the 6th. And the junior's first pitch Hitting the gun at 57 for a called strike. Freshman taps it. That ball is real trouble. And boy, how about that other freshman? Goodness gracious.
Designated player number 20, Hannah Carson.
And here's the DP, who is now catching Hannah Carson. It'll be 8-9 in the top of the LSU order here in the 7th. And Vickers has gone the entire way for Kentucky. Closed the book on Lynch, 5 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. She walked 4, struck out a season high 8, and threw 121 pitches.
Boy, Vickers still has good velocity, still has good movement on the ball. She's real feisty and competitive in the circle. I just love that. And she is going toe-to-toe here with the only undefeated team still in Division I softball.
That was just her 96th pitch. Lorsing now back in at third base for the Wildcats. Vickers, after working the outside part of the plate, comes back inside to even the count at 2-2. Good crowd reaction, but Hamilton was trying to help her pitcher out there. Got her there. Moved that target just a little bit, and Vickers busted it with her 4th strikeout of the night, and it's a big one to start off the 7th.
I just love to play behind a pitcher like Vickers. She knew it before the umpire even called it. As soon as it left her hand, look at that tremendous spin on the curveball, catches the outside corner.
And Sierra Daniel, who's been so effective, she grounded out to second, singled in the 5th. And Briggs in the top of that LSU order, waiting to follow. Tough play, and they can't make it. Tobias couldn't get it out of her glove. So Daniel is safe at first. There's going to be an error as she went to second. It's a question of who it's going to be on.
Well, Tobias charges this ball, and she has to. Gets 2 bounces, but once she didn't have the ball cleanly, sometimes the best throw is no throw.
Is to just eat
and
it.
In this situation, she doesn't have a handle on it. Never really did get a grip on the ball. Kind of shot-putted it over there, and that allows Daniel to get into scoring position.
So they've scored it a base hit with an error on the throw. And that is now the 5th error of the night on Kentucky. And I believe, did they commit 4 last night? 3 last night. So 8 errors in the first 2 games of this series. And Briggs takes the first pitch called strike.
Well, coming into the series, they had just made 13 all season, so it's very uncharacteristic of Kentucky.
Boy, what a great bunt. And it just rolled foul.
this is the part of the lineup for LSU. Just tremendous speed. You've got speed at second. The next two batters in the lineup can really run. And it just causes a lot of busy minds for the Kentucky defense, a lot of moving parts. And on a night like tonight, where they already have 5 errors.
Boy, that ball, if that ball had gone forward, that would have been a tough play too. Wildcats living on the edge right now. And LSU trying to extend its winning streak to open this season to 21 games. Vickers wanted it, didn't get it. That ball to the left side. Boy, did she pull her foot. Wow, Beth Torina. How many challenges do you get in a game?
2.
You get 2. I think she's going to take another one here. She lost her other one.
Each coach can have 2, and the
Okay.
umpires after the 6th inning can call a review on their own.
So let's see what they're going to do.
LSU is challenging the call is out at first base.
So it is an LSU challenge. Smokey Ed's our crew chief who was at first base. Let's see. That foot looks like it's off.
I'm not sure the review, again, is just challenging the call at first base, is whether or not her foot came off. It's actually the timing of the play, whether Briggs beat the throw. I believe that's probably a closer call, because it does look like Borzilleri keeps her foot on the base. I believe it's more the timing.
See, I thought from what I was seeing there that she pulled her foot. As you see the two coaches talking. Either way it goes, this is a huge, huge call.
Oh, it sure would be. It'll be 1 out for LSU. Speed on the bases, the heart of their lineup up. And if Kentucky if this play is upheld, get to 2 outs. I mean, outs are so valuable.
After further review, the calling in the field has been upheld. Runner is out.
So there it is.
Well, credit to Borzilleri for really stretching out and grabbing that ball. You know, Koffel had to get rid of it quickly. The ball was on the ground a long time, and it's not an ideal throw. You know, that's a tough play for the first baseman, and the runner is coming at you, and she's able to keep her hand in fair territory and make the catch. That's a tough play.
Can't be any closer than that.
Now batting with 2 outs, left fielder number 44, Allie Newland.
I'm just wondering, is there a difference in, and here comes Allie Newland with 2 outs, and Daniel still in scoring position, and that ball popped up back in the stands. Is there a difference in the description? Because on the last review, Smokey Ed said that the call on the field was confirmed. This time he said the call was upheld. Does that mean there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn or not?
No, usually it is upheld.
So,
you know,
it's one and the same.
That is yes.
Okay. And there's a base hit through the right side. Play at the plate. Ball is up and over. And it was Ebbs who came up throwing from right field. But Newland takes one through the right side. And despite the call that went against the Tigers, LSU takes a 1-run lead here in the top of the 7th.
Another 2-out RBI for LSU. This time it's Allie Newland, and the ball gets out to Taylor Ebbs very quickly. She's fielding the ball right as Daniel's getting to third base, but Coach Beth Torina, late in the game, 2 outs, is sending her all the way. It's an errant throw. LSU takes the lead.
That ball hit to short right, and that'll do it. But not before the Tigers take. I think, Carol, I don't think, but I know, our crew has done such a great job in some tough circumstances. They always do. But on that first LSU run in the 6th, you saw that throw from right field, which was high, nowhere near a cutoff person. It short hopped the catcher, and I got to believe Beth Torina still had that fresh in her mind when she sent Daniel there with the go-ahead run.
Well, there's no stop sign. Late in the game, 2 outs, you force the defense to get you out, especially when you have speed on the bases. Very aggressive call there. And worked out in her favor.
3-4-5 for Kentucky as Riley Smith fouls it off and the count's 1-1. Smith, Lorson, and Ebbs each with 1 hit apiece tonight. That ball's popped up to the left side. That's no picnic, but Pleasance has it.
And this is familiar territory for LSU.
Yes,
if you're going to run a win streak, currently
Yes.
at 20 games and knocking on the door of 21, you've got to find ways to win in a variety of ways. You've got to win the slugfest when it's 13-12.
Yep.
You've got to be able to win the extra inning game. You've got to be able to come from behind. And you have to be able to win the close games. And LSU has found a way to be clutch this season. They have won a lot of close games. If they are able to hold on in this game as well, they had to battle. They took an early lead, and the game was tied for quite a bit of it. They just are finding ways to win, and different heroes every night.
And give all credit to them, but they have gotten some help this weekend. I mean, I think Beth Torina would be the first to tell you that she wouldn't like her chances of winning a game if her team had committed 2 errors. But Kentucky has committed 5.
And despite Kentucky committing that amount of errors, 8 errors in the last 2 games, you know, and especially tonight, I mean, they still have the opportunity to come back and win this game. They are going toe-to-toe with LSU and with an opportunity here to battle back in the 7th.
LSU with 4 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors. They've left 5 on base. Kentucky 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 errors, and they've stranded 8 runners. And that ball flares outside in the first full inning of work for Raylan Chafin, and Kentucky has the tying run aboard in the form of Grace Lorson.
Now batting for the Cats, your right fielder, number 3, Taylor Ebbs.
And Ebbs no longer thinking about that throw from right. She's thinking about getting this run in. And she's got the ability to turn on a pitch.
I thought Ebbs had a tremendous at-bat in her last at-bat. It ended with a double.
Yep.
But just battled, fouled a lot of pitches off. Good barrel control.
Popped her up. And the Cats are down to their last out. Jenna Blanton, the short game specialist, try to keep this inning going for Kentucky.
Number 10, Jenna Blanton.
Chafin gets the called strike up in the zone.
Blanton with no extra base hits on the season, and
Yep.
typically LSU's been really shortening the field, but in this situation, the last thing you want is a ball in the gap over your head. So they're playing a little more standard depth here late in the 7th inning.
She reached on the errant throw by Cox. And now Beth Torina has brought Daniel in to play third base.
And that's Daniel's, more of her where she's played this season when she has played. She's a little more of a third baseman, so.
And Petty now in right field. Check that. Petty at second base. Rudity in right field. And that ball flared to the left side. Oh, was that almost trouble? Daniel wanted to get to it, but gave way to Pleasance. And LSU, ranked number 3 in the nation, has gotten a run in the 7th inning and